Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Carrie with Bayou Mandala, and I would like you to come along on this journey with me while I teach you how to paint pretty things. What we're going to be doing today is this 5.5-inch tea light. The mold for this tea light came from Happy Dotting Company. I will put all the links for everything down in the description box. I also used this 18 segment Happy Dotting Company tea light stencil just to get my guide marks drawn on here. I will list everything that I'm using down in the description box as far as paints, tools, so that if you're interested in painting this, you can find these items. Now, a lot of the paints you can probably find at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but I did include the Deco art links for these paints in case you cannot get them in the areas that you're in. So for today, I started off with a black base. This is multi-surface satin from Folk Art, and I just did 2 coats on this, top and bottom. And so for today, the paints that we're going to use, I've always loved the retro Halloween kind of vibe, and so I wanted to do colors that kind of play off that. So we have Deco Art Americana Gray Sky, Bright Orange, Vivid Violet, Peacock Teal, Mermaid Tail, and then for a little accent, I thought it would be really pretty to use this Peacock Pearl Deco Arts Dazzling Metallics. Also too, we'll probably use these. I've got Novu Crystal Drops in Windsor Wine. Thought that would look really pretty with the Vivid Violet, and then Novu Crystal Drops in Silver Lining. For my tools today, I am using the Happy Dotting Company dotting tools. You can find those on Amazon. Once again, I have the link for them down in the description. For my styluses, these are just kind of generic ones that you can find on Amazon. I'll also link those down in the description for you. And if you order these on their site, they'll give you the sizes for these. One size is always going to be a 1.5, and so the other end is going to be kind of your different diameters. And as far as brushes are concerned, I really like using the Jerry Q brushes, especially when I'm doing something smaller like this. And then also I really like the US Art Supply brushes. I do use a lot of products from Thoughtful Dots, but her Etsy site is shut down right now because she is on maternity leave. So it might be a little while before you could get some of her products. So I didn't want to show you them and you not be able to get your hands on them. So hopefully when she gets back from maternity leave, I will link her products in my description in further videos. And if you want to check out her Etsy shop, I'm sure she would be more than happy to have you purchase some of her products. So right now we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and just squirt out some paint here. And I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants on this. I haven't planned out any type of design or anything, so we're just going to see where it takes us. If y'all have any questions or anything, please feel free to leave them in the comments. be more than happy to answer anything for you. A little bit about myself. I live in Southeast Louisiana. I am married with 3 kids, 32, 25, and 16. Just celebrated my 14th wedding anniversary on Wednesday. That one did not mix very well, so we're gonna dump that one back in here and stir it up manually. I started doing mandala about 5 years ago. My husband got diagnosed with rectal cancer in 2000, and I used mandala art as just kind of my therapy. You know, if he was sleeping, resting, anything like that, I would kind of come in my little craft room and start painting, and just kind of became my outlet. After he recovered from his cancer, I kind of took a break from mandala painting just so that I could spend more time with him. And I've just recently kind of got back into it again. I retired in May, and so I have been doing a lot more painting. I go to art shows and craft festivals, farmers markets, that type of thing, kind of spreading the word about mandala art. And I just thought it would be fun to come on here and show you guys how to make some pretty things. So we're going to get started. I'm going to take the Novu drops in the silver linings first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go every other mark on here. Always squirt some out first, because it can give you a big burst of air and it'll ruin whatever you're working on. So what I'm going to do is just, you know, not a huge dollop, but a pretty good size one, because you're going to want it to go all the way to the top. And then I'm just going to take the skinny end of any of your instruments here and just kind of drag it all the way to the top. And we're just going to keep going around. So with spooky season coming up, have y'all watched any good movies or read any good books? I just finished Eldritch by Carrie Lake. So good. The second book in the Eating Woods trilogy. And now I already can't wait for the third one to come out, which unfortunately won't happen until 2026. But trust me, I have plenty of other books on my TBR list to read. As far as movies are concerned, I don't watch a whole lot of movies. I watch more people on YouTube than anything else, but I have watched a couple Halloween movies, but mostly just kind of, you know, not spooky ones. All right, so next I think we are going to go ahead and we're going to do some walking the dots around these little silver teardrops that we made here. And what I'm going to do is take a number 2 stylus, and I'm going to go in with the mermaid tail, and I'm just going to make one big dot. underneath each one of these. Make sure you kind of keep everything lined up the way that it should be. Otherwise, it'll throw your other dots off. And we'll just keep going around. And then what I'm going to do is just flip that same stylus over, and we're going to use that 1.5 end. And I'm going to get some paint, and I'm just going to kind of walk the dots right up the side there, and you'll see that the dots get smaller as you go. Now, I'm kind of weird, I guess. I like to spin mine around when I do the other side. I feel like I can see things better. So, what do y'all have planned for this weekend? I have a farmer's market Saturday morning, and then Sunday I've got my son, my ex-husband, his daughter, and her daughter coming over to celebrate my son's 33rd birthday. Belated. It was on the 3rd, but unfortunately we were at a family reunion in Orange Beach, Alabama, so we didn't get to celebrate it together as a family. So we're going to do it this weekend. So what is y'all's favorite season? I love fall and spring are my favorite, I guess, because fall for sure, because the weather is finally starting to cool down a little bit. It's been nice in the mornings here, but it still gets pretty hot during the day. And I love spring because the trees are starting to bloom and everything gets so green. Don't get me wrong, I like winter too, but I'm not crazy about cold weather. I grew up in Alaska and upstate New York, and kind of had my fill of cold weather, so I can kind of take it or leave it. All right, so we should be done with our dots. So I'm gonna wipe off my instrument. So now I think I want to do some brush strokes. I'm gonna go in with, I'm gonna use this Jerry Q 5/0. Don't judge my brush. It looks like he's had a bad hair day, but once you get it wet, his bristles look much better. So I think what I want to do, I'm gonna go in with the orange. And so I'm going to start at the top here, and I'm going to come down to right underneath where that big dot is, kind of give it a petal looking shape. So you want to push down, and as you come around, pull up, and that's going to give you your little tail right there. So do the other side. Now you want to stay in between your little guide marks right here. That way you know you'll have enough room to do the brush strokes on the next one. So kind of the same thing, we're just going to keep going. Bring it around. Press down. That'll give you your fat, juicy swoosh. And then just let up. My one's on the left side for some reason. Always come out better than my ones on the right. I don't know why, but they do. If you get little bubbles in there, I always just keep a little pin handy, and that way you can just pop those little bubbles. So, I would love to hear your stories if you are a mandala artist. How did you get interested in it? Why do you do it? For me, it's just kind of meditative. Now, after I get past a couple of the first wonky looking brush strokes, you kind of find your flow and things start to come together a little better. If y'all have any color schemes you would like me to do, you can put them in the comments below. I think the easiest way for me to find color schemes, I love going on to Pinterest and looking on there. They've always got such pretty ideas. I'm going to make this one just a little fatter. Hopefully I don't mess it up. All right, good. Now, let's clean off my brush. We're going to use the same brush and we're going to go on to this peacock tail color right here. And now we're going to kind of go along the side here and go up in that little bitty space that we've got left right there. So push down, and then we want to get a super thin line, so we're going to release on that brush, push down, come up, release pressure. I'm just going to keep going right around here like that. Push down, come up. Let me get that big juicy line right there. Push down, come up and around. I have always loved a good retro Halloween, or retro Christmas for that matter too. I'm not a big fan of the pastel Halloween. I'm more of a scary Halloween type person than a pastel Halloween. How about y'all? But obviously, there are people out there that enjoy the pastel because they keep coming back with it every year. So that's Grizz, in case you heard him bark. He is outside on the porch with my husband, begging him to please throw him the ball. So, how y'all doing? You doing all right? Moving right along here. This is going to be fun. I love these colors. I like bright when I'm painting the mandalas. You would question that if you ever saw me. I'm such a monochromatic person. My closet consists of white, brown, black, and gray. But I like to paint in color. All right. So, looks good so far. So, what I want to do now is, I think I want to use some of these Windsor wine drops to kind of fill in this little spot right here. Remember, always squeeze them out first. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to take my skinny end of my instrument and I'm going to drag that up and then drag this up like that, just to kind of fill in that little space. And look, and if your brush strokes on either side don't seem like it's centered exactly, it's okay to bring this over a little bit, just so that everything stays a little bit more centered. So then again, just kind of grab down at the bottom of your dot, that way you'll have enough paint, and just come up. Same thing on the sides. And I have a tendency to wipe off my stylus quite a bit just because it can get kind of gunky with paint, and that might mess up your swooshes. So try and keep it somewhat paint free. I like using the Nouveau drops. If you don't have those, you can use regular paint. Just go with that vivid purple color and use one of your little styluses and just dot and drag it up. You'll get the same effect. It just won't be as three-dimensional as using the Nouveau drops, but still just as pretty. And look, you can use whatever colors you want and duplicate this design. You don't have to use these colors if you don't like these colors. The world is your oyster. There's so many beautiful paint colors out there. I'm sure anything you use would be absolutely beautiful. And as I'm sitting here doing these little dots, I'm trying to imagine what I want to do for the next level. And I'm hoping by the time we're finished, our pretty peacock teal will be dry enough that we can go over the top of it with some of that peacock pearl. I think that would just look really, really pretty. Give it a little sparkle. I like to do top swooshes. Adds a little dimension. So this is a good little design to use if you ever have like little spaces that you need to fill in. You just want to make sure that you don't get your dots too close together, because sometimes they do have a tendency to run into themselves. So you want enough that where you can drag it, but not so much where they bleed into each other. All right, so that's done. I like it so far. So I think what I want to do now is I'm going to go in with a 6.5 in the Happy Dotting Company dotting tools. And I'm going to use this vivid purple color right here. What I'm going to do, okay, so where we made those little swishes right there, I'm going to take this dotting tool and I'm just going to dot right below it. I don't want to do it all the way up there, because if some of my brush strokes come up over the top, I don't want it to hit my swishes. And this is that vivid purple. And you want to get enough paint on your tool, but you don't need to sink it all the way down in your paint. And then just you're going to do a straight up and down dot. All right, clean off your tool. And now I'm going to go in with this gray sky color. And again, I'm going to use my number 2 dotting stylus. And I'm just going to make a dot right underneath here. Would love to know where y'all are from. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the video. Can't wait to see what this will look like when it's finished. Wiping off my tool. And then I'm going to go back with that 1.5 on the other end. And again, just walk our dots up and around. I don't count them. You can do as few or as many as you want to do. And again, you want to kind of wipe off your tool every once in a while, just because that paint will get caked up on there, and then your dots will not be the same size. They'll start to get bigger. Can you believe that they already have Christmas decorations out? What are y'all? Team Halloween, Team Christmas. I think every holiday should be able to have its season. Time goes by so fast as it is, and I just feel like we have a tendency to just rush things instead of being able to sit back and enjoy. The holidays have become so stressful. And I think that's one reason why, is we're just always rush, rush, rush. All right, the last set of walking the dots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with that mermaid tail, that darker teal color that we used in the beginning. And I'm going to use that same 5/0 brush. I'm going to wet it. All right, and then I'm going to start down here at this line, and I'm just going to kind of go up and over, pressure, and as you come up and around, release up on the brush so you get that little tail. Same thing over here, pressure, push down, around, up and over, and release. I have to hold this up just a little bit, a hard angle to get to. Push down, around, and release. Now look, I've got this straggly little bristle. Always keep Q-tips and water nearby in case you get any little mistakes. You can get those off of there real quick. And watch your fingers. If you're holding your whatever you're working on, just be mindful of where your fingers are at so that you don't end up sticking them in the paint. And your hand too, for that matter. Pressure, and then up and around. This is such a pretty color. Pressure, up and around, lift. That way you can get that beautiful crisp little tail. Well, see, you got to be careful of that too. So we're going to just redo that brush stroke. See if we can clean that up a little bit. You can always go back and touch up these little areas with some black paint. I'll just go back over those with the gray. No worries. Accidents happen. No need to stress over it. It's only paint. And sometimes mistakes You just prove you're human and you learn from them. And what I learned is that I'm not going to pick my stone up in case it slips. What are y'all's plans for Halloween? Coming around the corner. Finally got my house decorated. I didn't put up my Halloween village this year just because I was so late getting the decorations out. And it's a lot, so maybe next year. But it's fun to decorate. I love the holidays. Gives me an excuse to get all my pretty stuff out, and I just feel like it makes the house more homey when it's decorated for the holidays. What y'all think? Do you go out for Halloween, or do you save it all for Christmas? Would love to see pictures if y'all have any of your Halloween decorations up. You could always send me some pictures. I would love to see what y'all are doing. All right, so now we're going to go back with that vivid orange color, and I'm just gonna, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna bring this one down. Come to a point right underneath. Try and get it as close to that other brush stroke as you can without touching it. Sometimes it's kind of inevitable. It just happens. I like how this is coming out. Sometimes you don't really know how colors are going to work together until you actually paint them on something. Just a fun, quick little project. If y'all are interested too, I can always do a video on how to pour up the tea lights. It's kind of fun to do, play with plaster. I've also got a smaller version of this tea light that we could do. That one's really fun, kind of quick and easy. You can find some of the Happy Dotting Company products on Amazon. She also has an Etsy page, and you can buy directly from her website. So some of the products that I talked about, the tea light mold itself is not on Amazon. So you can check her Etsy, or it has it for sure on her webpage. but she is in Australia, so if you order it from the website, just be prepared that it might take a little longer to get to you, just because it has to go through customs and all that good stuff. All right, last one here. All right, now we are going to go back with the vivid purple. Now we're going to use the light, the Peacock teal. Get some on your brush. And now we're going to go up. So we're going to go up and around. Remember, be mindful of your guide marks right here. So I'm going to start right on this guide mark. And just kind of go up and around. I don't know why my first ones don't ever look that great. Mandala art is a very forgiving art. It kind of deceives the eye. It's not something that you can look at the whole piece of art. And so if you make a little mistake, it's kind of easier for it to be hidden, because your eye just can't focus on really more than one thing at a time. So I will probably bring this one with me tomorrow to my little farmer's market. After I fix those little areas that I messed up on. And then after I finish it, you can either use, Deco Art has a really good glaze that you can put on here. That's a paint on glaze, and I'll show y'all that here. You can also use, Krylon makes a good spray glaze that I like a lot. Just kind of depends. You know, if it's something smaller, I'll use the spray. Something like this, I'll probably just paint on the glaze. Don't mind the ghost footprints going up and down the stairs. My son just got back from school and he lives in the loft above my craft room, so you may hear him going up and down the stairs. All right, I'm done with that. So now we're going to go back to that vivid purple, and I'm gonna kind of just come up a little bit. And come around. Trying to stay in those little guide marks. Some of your spaces might be bigger than others just because not all of your brush strokes are going to be the same size. That one came out wonky. Look, and that rogue bristle is back. I think we're in luck. I think those top Peacock teal brush strokes are dry, so we can do a top swish on those. Maybe while we're doing those, these down here on this second row will have a chance to dry. Sure have enjoyed painting with y'all today. I look forward to doing some more videos and painting some cool stuff. Maybe we can do some Christmas ornaments. Those always come out so pretty, make great gifts. Or to keep. You don't always have to give everything you paint away. All right, looks good. So now we just have some little areas that I just want to kind of fill in with something. So I think I'm going to use the gray sky color, and I'm going to take my 1.5. Like I said, remember, even though it's a different color, there's one end that's always going to be a 1.5. So I'm going to dip in there, and I'm just going to do some little dots right here, fill in this little space. See, I stuck my finger in it again. Q-tips to the rescue. Let me go back and fix that spot before I forget to do it. And once you put that top swoosh on there, you'll hardly be able to see that spot. Like I said, be mindful of your fingers. Should be do as I say, not as I do. And y'all don't have to put these little dots in here if you don't want to. Some people like to have that little bit of space, black space. I just think it adds a little something to it. And I might do the same thing down here at the bottom. I'll take that gray again with the 1.5, and I'm just gonna dot, 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 like that. That looks cute. I like that. Well, if you have enjoyed my content today, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. That lets me know that you're enjoying what I'm providing for you. All right, so now we're going to go back in and we'll do those top swishes. I might use a smaller brush. I'm going to use this 3/0. I don't know about this paint. Let's see. I'm going to do one and see how it looks. Yeah, I guess it'll be okay. Looked a little like it still wasn't mixed, but I think it'll do what I need it to do. And you can do any color that you want. If you want something that's more of a contrast, you could go in with the silver, would be really pretty. That way it could kind of tie that in a little bit more. Or you can just leave it. You don't have to do these little swishes on here if you don't want to. You can also find me on Facebook, Bayou Mandala. I'll post on there a lot of times where I'm going to be. If I'm doing craft shows or art festivals. If y'all are anywhere in the area, I'd love to meet you. Alright, so those bottom ones are still, well, let's see. Maybe we can, some of them are dry. So after you're finished with this, make sure you let it dry really well. And then you'll go back in, and I like just to use like a super soft cloth. You can use like the microfiber cloths. Something that's not going to leave a lot of lint behind, so that when you go to spray it, you don't have fuzzies everywhere. Some of these swishes are not all the way dry. Just trying to go around and look and see which ones I could possibly do. Some of these might have to wait. So I'll post a picture of this finished glazed on my Facebook so y'all can go and check it out and see the final product. I like it. I think it came out good. I love the colors. Very bright, festive, retro Halloween. So once these other bottom Peacock teal swishes dry more, I'll go back and do the little top swishes on them. I'm thinking I'm going to take my silver lining and I'm going to do a little dot right here. Just a little one. Kind of fill in these little spots right here. So you want to squeeze and release. And these Novu drops have a really good way of kind of settling out so you don't have like some crazy little peak up there. I think I'm going to do one more right here, kind of bring in a little bit more of the gold. I'm sorry, not gold, silver. Be careful too when you're doing these little dots that you don't squeeze too much out on there, just because of the angle. It might drip a little. Here. I think it looks pretty. I'm going to fix these real quick. Where I messed it up. There. Can hardly even tell. All right, my beautiful people. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. Again, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I will try and do videos at least once a week. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, namaste, and I will see you soon.